Starting.
Saw a button.
All right. I think we are live. So this is the first ever Adventure Live podcast. And just kind of to start the show off, a lot of these videos, we'll go on a hunt and then we'll get all excited. We'll talk about something. We'll talk about gear or hunting goals or lifestyle stuff or whatever. And people will log in and be like, hey, just get straight to the footage. Like, quit talking. And we've got a lot to talk about. So this is a format so we can just kind of just screw around, talk a little bit, just kind of talk about, related topics and not interrupt a hunt to do so. So it's a separate forum for that kind of stuff. So today I've got Nate on the other line, and Nate he has joined me on tons and tons of hunting adventures, everything from bobwhite quail to whitetail. I think I've got the video on the channel of his very first doe kill, which you were super excited about.
Yeah, man.
Lots of hunting stuff, lots of travel stuff. Just, I don't know, great dude to talk to about all this stuff. So we're just going to kind of talk today. And as people kind of join in, we may open up the comments, but right now it's just going to be just kind of exploring some topics and having some fun with it. So the very first thing to talk about, so I just called this show Adventure Live, just because that's kind of what it is. It's just the live version of the Adventure One vlog, but that's not like the best name. So and Nate, I think you had some other name ideas. What were you thinking about?
Yeah, man, absolutely.
Wait, where'd you go? You can't hide under the desk when you talk. Come on, dude.
So, no, I had made a list of names while I was on the pot the other day. And
that is the best place to come up with name idea. That or the shower when you're just sitting there, you're like,
Yep, exactly. But so I have a list of names. Tell me if you like any of them, and we can stop and chit chat about it, or chat shit, whatever you prefer. So, fried chicken feelings, bob whites, cat fur, long-tailed cats, crawfish, locked and cocked, unloaded. Just make me laugh. I haven't read these in a long time. Unloaded, pocket dump, bugaboo, absolutely. Cheers, 3-piece and a Dr. Pepper, secret menu, or barbershop. Those are good.
Man. I feel like this could be like a whole like ongoing conversation. So like, and so many of these have awesome backstories too.
Absolutely.
Like the one that stood out to me, like pocket dump, obviously that comes from people like in like everyday carry videos, like showing, and obviously Nate's just cracking up on the other side because he knows the story. But for everybody who doesn't know the story, so pocket dump comes from like, show my everyday carry, show your gun, keys, wallet, knife, blah, 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 everything you carry. And I think it was from the Iraq Veteran 8888 man can box. He had like a patch. There's always a patch in that box that goes out. And it was a sticker that looked like a turd that just said pocket dump, kind of making fun of that whole thing. And then I was going out on a hunt.
I thought it looked like ice cream. One thing that made it look not like ice cream.
Well, there's a piece of corn in it, and that's how you know it's not ice cream. But so this badge that Nate thought was ice cream, he's stuck on the Velcro sleeve of my hunting jacket. And I was halfway out on a hunt, and shot a deer and was so proud and took a picture of it. And like halfway through this whole adventure, I'm like, oh, there's a turd on my pocket.
So yeah, that just came to me while I was taking a dump. I thought of pocket dump. One of the ones that I liked was fried chicken feelings. And it's because I swear every time we go on a hunt, we get fried chicken on the way home. And it's crazy because most of the time when I get fried chicken, I think about like hunting adventures because that's like about the only time I can eat like crap when my wife's not around. And then what else was I thinking? I'm from Georgia, as you know, and cat fur to make kitten britches is a saying that I say all the time. Doesn't make any sense, but we come up with a bunch of colloquialisms.
So I had never heard of this saying before you said it, and normally I feel like I know a lot of these, like hotter than a tin roof on a sunny day and stuff like this. And then I asked what something was for, and Nate said cat fur to make kitten britches, and I was like, what the hell are you talking about? What the hell is kitten britches? But apparently it's when somebody says, "What's that fur?" You say cat fur.
Exactly. My grandpa says it all the time. But,
I didn't
there's
even
a
know
bunch
about that one until I heard you say it, and then I kind of think it's awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's kind of the same category as the, what was it, long-tailed cat? And
in a room full of rocking chairs. Absolutely.
yeah. So that comes from, well, that dude was more nervous than a long-tailed cat in a room full of rocking chairs, which you can understand why that cat's pretty nervous.
Oh man. Any of them you like? Any of them that stick out?
I like a lot of them. I don't know.
Or any of them that you came up with?
Mine are lacking.
Well,
I feel like,
good.
yeah, I just called it Adventure Live just for right now, but because I feel like you would probably have a lot of great ones, and then probably something would come out of this first video, and we could, I don't know, come up with something there. But
for sure, I feel like a lot of our conversations come out of like rabbit holes and just random crap. But I think it's something that I think Pocket Dump could be a good one.
Yeah,
I think that whatever we say it could be like the first, and this is the first installment of Pocket Dump or whatever.
Yeah.
As a part of it, because I know you mentioned that other people might join you on these, and so my conversations may be called Pocket Dump, and maybe you come up with a different name for other ones, or keep it, whatever.
Or maybe we just call you Pocket Dump.
That could be it. Don't refer me as anything else. Just
or Kitten Britches or something like that. Well, I think we just solved it.
Mm-hmm. I like it. That's good.
But we've got so many, like, I just think that's how like all hunters and all adventurers kind of relate to like stories, and honestly like how a lot of places get named and stuff like that. Is you just have these like fond memories or just these ridiculous moments. Like I remember I wasn't on the trip, but one time it was like you and Ryan and a couple other people were hunting some public land property, and you just referred to that property as Lost Wallet, and it was actually like, U.S. Forest Service Property 67 or whatever, but you just called it Lost Wallet because that's what it was known for.
Or even out when we go hunting and we like refer to things as like, oh, over near Bobcat or Cactus Pond, or like,
yeah, the Cactus Pond was when I like sat down in that cactus that like I took an arrow to the knee with a huge prickly pear cactus that just like destroyed me. And you were like, come on, man, come on. And I'm just like, I'm done.
That and the other time when you thought you almost stepped on a snake out there were the two times I've actually think like I've seen genuine fear in your face, and the snake was like like, and I was right behind you, and so I thought we were both like just done for. But
yeah, I jumped about 3 feet in the air and pulled my gun, and then was like, oh, never mind, I'm good.
just a stick. Don't mind me. Not jumpy at all.
Yep, just a very scary looking stick. Well, you've got a nice mug of something, so I feel like I got to crack a beer. And
yeah, well, you don't
show a beer on YouTube Live, then I don't really care. Screw them.
That's a true Texan right there, I guess, with a shot.
Yeah.
The thing is with me though, you don't know what's in my mug. That's a trick.
Yeah, we were talking earlier. Maybe it's peanut butter.
I don't know if you noticed, but I have 2 different mugs.
I didn't even notice that you said that. You're just like alternating.
And the best part about you not being here is, I mean, it could be sweet tea, it could be hot sauce, it could be moonshine, it could be beer, or it just could be tea. But either way, for me to know and for you never to find out.
Yeah, that's interesting. Maybe you just made a suicide of each.
Now wait a second. You didn't plan for that. Did you just have like, are those all mugs like they're just on your desk from like coffee from late night work?
Plan for what? Oh yeah, it's sad. There's definitely a mug, like a coffee mug around here at all times, and usually a Yeti cup full of something, or a knockoff Yeti cup usually. But
I just wanted to highlight the fact that I think it's really funny that we assume that it's coffee when you see coffee mugs on like news broadcasters or any of those type of desks. And I know somebody has to have vodka in one of those suckers or something.
I mean, really, there's no way to know.
Exactly. I think it's very interesting how we assume that like norm, but it could be anything. It could be water.
Well, I mean, it's just kind of that societal, like, really, those are like the only drugs that are like culturally permissible, right? Like during the week, like caffeine to get you amped up, keep you productive, get you to power through it, all that stuff. And then on the weekends, have some alcohol, chill down. But anything else is kind of, not really socially permissible.
I know. It's kind of wild. Oops, excuse me. Oh, sorry.
Oh, coffee burp, peanut butter burp, whatever kind of burp that was.
That's a good question. So what did we land on? We landed on pocket dump. Okay, I'm glad with that.
Well, we'll call it that for now.
Or but don't refer to me as like the fleckicorn. I don't accept that. I don't want to be the fleckicorn in your poop. All right. I'll take pocket dump for now.
Yeah.
Awesome. So you're having a beer. Have you had a long day?
It's only like, what time is it now? Not even 1 p.m. But I've gotten some work done. Pretty productive Saturday. Not a super fun Saturday, but I think I'm gonna go to the range and shoot some clays later, because I have not shot my shotgun like since dove season last year. So I kind of need to get back in the the swing of things, quite literally.
Yeah, time is ticking. We only got like a month and a half out for big opening day.
Not even that. It's like 2 weeks.
Oh, fart. I was thinking like we were at the end of July. Holy smokes.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy. This summer has just like, I don't know where it's gone. It's ridiculous.
For some reason, I still thought we were at the end of like mid-July. For some reason, I felt like we obviously still had like a whole another month and a half, but 2 weeks. Crap.
Yep.
Anyways, at least you have opportunity to go to a range. I don't really have much that near me to I can practice, and so I might have to. Wow. Can't talk. I may have to go by my friend's place and see if I can throw some clays up.
Just hand throw some stuff.
Yeah. Exactly.
Well, I mean, that works. Yeah, you said it's all handgun ranges near you, right? No, it's interesting. It seems like there's more shotgun places near me. No, there's like indoor handgun places. That's probably the most popular here too.
I think that's nationwide. There's more handgun places, but you have way more rifle and shotgun, everything out there. We still have to hit up that handgun place though that does like the shooting tree. That would be super fun.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like a little competition.
That's actually probably where I'm going tonight. Yeah, it's pretty fun.
Yeah, for sure. Well, cool, man.
Well, so each show, I mean, we could probably just go on and on and on, but then it would just be one show that never ends, and we would just, be live continuously. And I think people might get a little bored of that. Sure. I don't even think we have any live viewers right now. We had 2 for a moment, but I think most people are going to come back and watch this after it gets reposted, not after it's live, but it's also the first one.
Yeah.
But I think if we have just a few topics per show, just kind of that are interesting or just kind of something that caught your attention. And one thing that I was noticing, so I was following the Texas drawn hunts, and last year I got drawn for that Nilgai hunt, and I missed it this year. Two of my buddies, one guy who was on it last year and one guy who I had talked to about it, but he didn't get drawn. They both got drawn for it, but I missed it this year.
Shoot, sorry, man. Because you have your big old cutout too. You were already set up.
Well, yeah, and so that I think was particularly interesting because like that was I brought like I print a lot of signs and stuff for work, and so there was a guy at a local sign shop who kind of owed me a favor, and I brought him some deer meat, and he actually made like a big like Montana style like cutout decoy, and I think I was the first person ever to actually try to decoy a Nilgai. And when I was using that, I had one just like kind of walk by and kind of look at it, but then he kept going on his way. So I had never heard of that, but they're an antelope species. So I figured they would decoy pretty well. But then I saw this year, so it's an episode of Easton Bow Hunting with Fred Eichler that's about to go live. Montana Decoy Co. actually made a decoy just like that. And they're like, oh, we're the first ones ever. I'm like, dude, I did that a freaking year ago.
You're like, lies.
Well, and so like just based on the timing of it, so like about 6 months, and I'm like, there's a chance that they saw my video and they're like, we could make that. Like, because that's what they already do for like elk and pronghorn. I just did the exact same thing for a Nilgai because nobody was making it. So there's a chance that they just saw that and they're like, okay, that guy had a good idea, but let's make a real one.
Seriously, you could be like, hey, by the way, did you see this video? And maybe could I get a free one? Although that sucker's probably huge and real heavy and cumbersome to take around. Maybe.
Well, it folds up kind of like a sunshade, like a car visor.
Oh, gotcha.
It's like fabric with like a wire frame, so you do that crazy origami to untwist it and it pops up. But I might reach out to him and just be like, yeah, I know I don't have any real intellectual property to this, but neither do you. And here's where I talked about it first. So if you send me one, I'll show yours instead of my cutout.
That could work. Hey, I'd buy it.
They probably won't go for it, but I don't know. I just thought it was interesting.
Yeah, for sure, dude. Well, that makes sense. I'm sorry you don't get a chance to go, though. Or did you get drawn for anything else?
Well, on that one, so I missed the first draw. So I think basically the first people who get drawn have like 10 days, 12 days, something like that to confirm it. But then if they don't confirm, there's a certain number of spots that get redrawn. So there's still a chance I might make the second draw, or I might make the rifle one. So I missed the archery. But technically that hunt, like shooting a Nilgai, like those things, like it's almost as big as a damn horse. Like those things are huge. So if I could choose, I would prefer to hunt them with a rifle. Like if I hunt with the archery again, like I think it'd be super fun and I would love to do it. But if you're really picking like the best weapon for the job, like it's a rifle for sure.
Absolutely. Makes sense. I would want to do that at some point, but I just got to find the time. I really wish I could just win the lottery and then just, take people hunting, or, first get proficient in hunting and then take people. That'd be so cool.
Well, and I think there are, what you're talking about being proficient in hunting, you never master it. Like no one's ever good enough. And I think it's one of those things that in the beginning, you don't know what you don't know. So you're just a bumbling idiot out in the woods. And then you get to this like place of awareness where you start being like, oh, that's what those people are doing right and what I'm doing wrong. And then once you realize that self-awareness, like that never changes. You just get better at doing fewer things wrong, but you're always like, oh, I could be better. I could be like, you never really master it. I bet even the people who are just incredible hunters probably feel that way too, that they're just like, I need to get better. I need to get better.
I think that's interesting because I try to find, or I'm starting to now try to find the balance of this piece of gear will make me better, or practice will make me better, because sometimes gear will make you better or help you be better. You still got to be able to know how to scan for things. You got to be able to know how to do it silently. But like, I think sometimes a piece of gear could help. And I don't know. I think I ordered something just the other day because everybody's having their fall extravaganzas. I think I ordered a game camera, which will help kind of figure out pattern deer, all that kind of stuff.
Nice. I think like in general, like what you're talking about, I totally agree. I think there's kind of a threshold, like good gear beats bad gear every single time. But there's also like, when do you know that like I can rely on my skills and I don't need to just throw more money at it? Right. Like and I think a lot of things like shooting is like once you have a good enough gun, you don't need to pay twice as much for, a gun or scope that's 2% better. You probably just need to spend that money on ammo and go practice. Like there's a lot of things like that.
No, amen. I've thankfully never had to buy like a game gun before. And I think I told you this at one point where like before I upgrade, because a lot of the guns are older and some of them I don't have to upgrade, like my A5 for dove. But I told myself I'm not going to upgrade until I harvest an animal off of each gun. Like, I just won't do it because my dad's hunted with it, my grandpa's hunted with it, and it doesn't make any sense for me to be like, oh, this is cool, but it won't work for me because it's worked for them. And so, one, it's kind of cool to like continue that family heritage, but then two, it's like, let me work with what's worked before and then maybe build onto that and get better.
See, I think that's really cool because I tend to be a tinkerer. Like, I don't think I have ever had like an automobile, a computer, a guitar, or a gun that I've just like left stock. Like, I just gotta mess with stuff. I buy something based on the potential that it could be. I'm like, well, that's a pretty good place to start, but we can do this, we can do this, we can do, and constantly make it better. But then like I struggle with the idea of like, when are you done? Like, you can always make it a little bit better, right? And sometimes you're like, I gotta quit just like messing with this thing and just like get out there and practice with it and enjoy it. And a lot of times it can like pull the joy away from it, because you're like, oh yeah, I got to tinker with this, and it gets into like, I see this especially in a lot of like competition shooters.
Yeah.
It gets to a point where it's almost just like glorified ammo testing and not like having fun with like what got you into it. So I think that's a really cool goal, that you're just like, I'm going to get something with it as is before I take it to the next level.
For sure. Now, don't get me wrong. I almost like scoped myself in the freaking eye with my rifle because it's so old, and this, in like the optic of it, I was like getting so close. I was like, oh, let me see how this is gonna work, and I had to make sure I kind of like kept to my like technique, to my form, to not sacrifice. But got it done this past year, as you said earlier.
Yeah.
I was actually able to upgrade, which was awesome. Thank you for your help with that, and just getting all that dialed in, because I'm still one of those bumbling idiots sometimes in the woods trying to figure it out, but you've helped out a lot.
Oh, dude, we all are. But I mean, that, what was it, a Simmons or a Tasco with about a 3/4 inch eye relief that just nearly every time. Like, exactly. That's what I was saying. Like, there's a basic threshold of gear. Like, once you get above the threshold, like, you're good. And beyond that, it's just paying twice as much to get slightly better. And that's kind of what I feel like.
Yeah.
The first time you pay twice as much, you get something that's twice as good. Then you pay twice as much again, you get something that's 10% better. Then you pay twice as much again, you get 5%. So it's diminishing returns for sure. But once you get above that basic threshold, it just comes down to enjoying it and practicing with it.
And speaking of gear, though, I'm not saying you have a crappy webcam, but your hat is facing the right way, and your shirt is facing the wrong way, and your picture in the background is facing the right way. What's happening there? I'm not the tech guy. That's why I'm asking.
Oh, I think there's just some settings. Like, so you know how the camera can be like forwards or backwards? I got to turn it so that I need to click all the boxes so that the hat is forwards and the shirt.
Shut up.
No, that's actually a pet peeve of mine. I think it's on like all the old MacBooks that everybody had. Like, the default setting was to mirror it. And so like on my screen and probably your screen, it mirrors it on the screen, so you can see. It's just like looking in a mirror, so you can see like, hey, I move left, my head moves left. I move right, my head moves right. But in terms of the actual broadcast, like, I hate it when that's mirrored, when that's not, you know, as it's actually recording. But yeah, no, it's actually this shirt. This shirt's actually printed backwards. So
oh, no kidding.
Like,
oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Oh.
So like this is just forwards. But this shirt, yeah, it was kind of like as a joke. It was it was actually printed backwards. But on the back of the shirt,
oh, you're good.
It's printed forwards.
Wow. I did not catch that. No kidding. Well, funny.
Yeah, so it's no weird camera trickery, but that is a pet peeve of mine when people broadcast it and like all the they try to show text on the screen and it's backwards, and they're just like, "Oh, just go with it, man." It's like, no, just change your settings.
Just flip-flop. I gotcha. Cool. What do you have going on? What are the topics you want to talk about?
Another thing. So this last weekend, I was in California for a bachelor party, and I had not been out to California in a very long time. I've got some family out there. It's been forever since I've visited them, but this was just kind of go have fun at the beach, go see town, stuff like that. And have you heard about all this ridiculous stuff with the straws in California?
No.
So it's
I really haven't. Yeah, not at all.
So there was this initial report about basically plastic straws are like the #1 polluters in the Pacific Ocean. And then all these celebrities got involved, and they're like, oh, you know, the Pacific Ocean is just full of trash, and it's mostly plastic straws. There's 500 million plastic straws floating in the Pacific Ocean. And it's like the #1 polluter.
Yep, I've heard it. Well, kind of. I know Starbucks is going to like a strawless lid, I think is how it got to me, like how I've like heard about this. Kind of.
A strawless lid? Isn't that just a regular lid?
Touche. But I guess one that you don't have to, you know, poke in. But somebody told me like, or somebody wrote a meme online somewhere where it's like Starbucks is actually putting more plastic in their strawless lids than like the former like lid and straw combo, which is kind of, I don't know, interesting.
Dude, I believe it though. I mean, like, there's definitely like the reports about like the huge like plastic mass floating in the Pacific Island. I think now they're saying it's about the size of France. Like that's definitely true. Like that is definitely true. And it's really sad to me because that's, you know, I tend to be kind of a libertarian mindset and stuff like that. But like natural, like protecting ecology is important. A lot of times I don't think it's necessarily like government regulations that do that best, but being into like outdoor stuff, hunting, fishing, adventuring, like that's really important to me. So it's sad to see reports about all that pollution. But the straw thing, so that like 500 million straws, like that number actually came from like a science project from like a 9-year-old. Like he basically got on the phone and called a bunch of straw companies and was like, how many straws do you sell in a year or whatever? And he projected it out to all the number of companies that make straws and where they sell them. And he came out with 500 million, and then they're all floating in the Pacific Ocean or something. And then a bunch of celebrities just like obviously didn't fact check this. They just picked it up and went with it. And so now there's like a lot of like cities that are like banning plastic straws. But the most ridiculous thing that I saw, I was in San Diego, and most of the places just didn't serve straws. Like, but if you asked for one, they would give you one. They just wouldn't serve you one by default.
Okay.
But one of the most ridiculous things that I saw was a paper straw. Like it's like a coated paper composite sort of thing. So it's technically it'll hold up long enough for you to, drink out of it. But then, in 2 days it will dissolve away, something like that. But these paper straws have to be kept sanitary, so not everybody can touch them. So I saw paper straws in a plastic wrapper. So wow. Literally the equation breaks down to like, like plastic's bad. We're polluting too much. We got to ban plastic straws. So we're going to make paper straws, but we got to keep them sanitary. So we got to put them in a plastic wrapper. So now we take off the plastic, literally just throw the plastic away, use the paper straw, and it dissolves while the plastic's just, sitting in a landfill or whatever. Like,
and the perfect part about that is when the plastic straws were made before, they were covered by paper.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, come on, dude.
It's like flipping the camera. Someone was just thinking about that. Like, yep, got it.
We'll just trade off. Well, and then like me just being like the way I think, I was like, well, there are a bunch of idiots, obviously, who are going out and actually like buying this. And so I'm like, what if we can come out with something even better? Like the way like Yeti basically revolutionized this industry. So like this thing was not new when Yeti came out. Like stainless steel tumblers and mugs and stuff had been out for forever. Like I remember like my mom drinking out of one on my way to school when I'm like sitting in the back, like smashing goldfish in my kiddie seat. I remember these things were still out.
You have a good memory.
Way to like make it cool and make it the norm. And I was like, well, what if somebody just does that with stainless steel straws?
Yeah.
And then I started like looking on eBay and Amazon, and I was like, somebody's already done that.
Yep. Actually, my boss has one. She was drinking out of it the other day when she was drinking this like gross smoothie. And to be clear, she's not gross, but the gross smoothie. It was all green and vegetable-y and all that kind of stuff. But I'd never seen one before, and I don't know if I'll go down that road because I feel like that would hurt my tooth if I like sucked too hard one day, like banged it in my tooth. But
that's true. There's probably like a tooth fairy lobby from the other side, like going after these stainless steel straws.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, but I was looking at it because I was like, well, the problem is that it's all this like disposable throwaway stuff that becomes garbage. If it's a reusable thing, and then I started looking at it and just it's all over Amazon and eBay, and I'm like, I couldn't even like get something like this made up for $1 a straw, and they're selling it for less than that.
No kid. Yeah. Oh, definitely. I'm sure they're selling it way less than that.
But then long term, you think about it, you're like, well, then they start selling all of these, and like if they're truly reusable, great, because then kind of demand stops at the when it gets maxed out as they're using them at the proper rate. But if people end up just throwing that away, then it's like, well, you replaced like a light thing of plastic or a light thing of paper with now like stainless steel that's never going to deteriorate. So it's like it's a no-win situation.
It kind of is. If they like release Megalodon and they just have them go and eat all of the plastic, you're good.
So you're saying we need like a genetic engineering product or project to have a giant shark that just eats plastic.
Basically. Well, actually, I was reading up online because I saw that movie, and I guess he just that thing just ate everything in the ocean. Didn't matter what it was. It was just like moving in front of it. It would just eat it. Now floating pieces of plastic.
I'm just imagining all these like plastic like pool rafts, like you see like a swan or like a dolphin, and it's just like just chomping away at these things.
Seriously. Oh man, did you go swimming out in California?
Got in the water for a little bit. So I was just basically at the beach for about a half a day.
Mm.
It was nice. Like the water temperature was great. I'm so used to fresh water that I'm just like salty. But the even at Pacific Beach, which is like a pretty just like common spot, and it's not necessarily like an indie like cool surfer spot. Even there, like the waves were pretty intense. Like
It's
way
normal.
more intense than we get just on the Gulf Coast of Texas.
Oh, heck yeah, unless you have a freaking hurricane coming. But yeah, I remember being out there. I went into the waves a little bit, and it was pretty rough that day. And then that night, Lindsay and I, we were walking on the pier after dinner, after ice cream or whatever, and I looked down, and there was a hammerhead just like swimming around, hanging out in the water, and I was like, nope. Like,
Yeah, you're like that's comforting. Yeah,
seriously.
awesome.
And like people are just used to it out there. Like it's just like a part of the life, you know. Yeah.
Some days we get plastic straws, some days we get hammerheads. You know, it's just like how it is.
Oh my God. I dated a girl for about 3 seconds in college that spoke like that, and then she opened her mouth.
Hi, my nickname's Hammerhead. Hi, Nate.
Which is funny because I don't date people like I'm married now, but like I wouldn't have dated person before they opened their mouth. I mean, I guess for the record, but the voice got annoying real quick.
Please clarify.
I didn't look at her and be like, "You're my girlfriend." That's what I'm saying. But I dated her, and eventually that voice got real annoying.
Yeah, I bet so. But I mean, I'm sure my Texas accent is pretty annoying to people, and it's funny. Like sometimes, like I won't have a super strong accent, and then I'll hang around more people from like East Texas, and I'll be like, "Hey, y'all, let's get some oil. Let's go to Tyler and get some oil and shoot our rifles." Like, and then sometimes you don't even notice it like at all. I don't know. I kind of like flip flop, but whatever. I've lived in Texas like almost all my life, and then aside from that, Arkansas, which is not any better.
No way. I mean, I've lived all over, and Lindsay would tell you, like, my accent when I first met her was like thick, and I was talking like this and would call mama, you know. And so when you're from the deep South, man, golly, you get looked at differently when you go to the Midwest for college. And they're like, yeah,
you
took the SAT. Do you know what that stands for? But anyway. Dude, this has been fun. I've actually never been on anything live, except for, I was on TV one time. I was on Fox News. Sorry for all those CNN watchers that are watching the show, but I was on Fox News.
No, if people only watch CNN, we can't count on them to be well informed. So go ahead.
But my dad was watching Fox News, and I was in New York City one time. And I was like, "Hey, Dad, I'm in New York City. I just dropped Lindsay off at whatever conference she's going in. I have 6 hours to kill. We're going to walk around downtown." He goes, "Well, it's Friday morning. They have all the shows going on. Fox News has a concert going on." And I was like, "Sounds good. I'm going to go get it on TV." I got into like their like concert, which was outside. It was just kind of gated off. And I was one of the taller guys there. And I was just like tracking down the camera. I mean, I enjoyed the show, like the concert that was happening, but I would just like turn around and be like, and my dad would be on at home. He was like taking pictures of it. It was a big thing in my family. He called my grandma. He called my other grandma, my aunt. Everybody got on Fox News and watched me that morning.
Well, at least you weren't the guy who had to tell him about the UFO.
Yeah.
I saw it.
Right there. But yeah, no, this has been interesting.
Well, we've got a funny UFO picture.
Oh yeah, no kidding. I completely forgot about that.
That may surface. It'll take me a long time to dig it up, or else I'd throw it on the screen. But yeah, we shot down a UFO one time. That's another story for another day.
Definitely. And actually, as you said that, you just broke up a hair. And so about that time.
What's that?
I said you actually just broke up a hair. And so is it about that time?
No. I was just saying, yeah, we were out in the woods on a hunting trip, and we found, I think it was like an old cattle feed bin or something.
Mm-hmm.
Like gotten flipped over and trashed out in the woods, this big stainless steel disc. So we took a picture there with our guns. Like, what was it? We shot down a UFO.
That was pretty funny. I'm trying to see if I can find it real quick. But was there anything that you wanted to chit chat about today?
Yeah, that's kind of all I got for today. I mean, like I said earlier, we could go on just forever, and so I think this more and more like this show is going to be a recurring thing, just because there's so many of my videos where it's like a how-to that people find useful, or it's just kind of like a trip video about like a hunt. But then there's a lot of times where I interrupt it, just like talking about stories and stuff like that. So I think this is a good platform to just kind of either rant about topics like Nilgai decoys or straws in California, stuff like that, or just kind of just to mess around and just have these conversations. But that's kind of all I had for today.
Awesome, dude. Well, it's been real. It's been nice.
It's been real nice. Found it. Wait, show it again. Show it again. Yep.
Well, like I was saying,
about one of the most redneck things we've ever done, but it's freaking hilarious.
Yes.
And you're holding your your old Browning, wearing briar breeches, like it's perfect.
Seriously. Please take a look at your face. Well, hold on.
Oh man, that is the cheesiest grin ever.
Yeah, man, awesome.
I think that's a good way to close it off. Today. So, man, it's been real. It's been fun. To all you who are watching, I hope you enjoyed it. Give us suggestions for the next one. Just go ahead and comment below if you've got ideas, if you've got topics. We're gonna keep this going. We're just gonna have fun with it. But until next time, stay safe, be free, and never stop seeking adventure.